Good morning, everyone. It is July 25th, 2024. I hope you guys are all doing well this morning. The energy has definitely shifted. We're going to briefly go over the astrology for today, so I might as well bring it up now. But I hope you guys are feeling good. And give me a 5x5 in the chat. I'm hoping you guys could hear me clearly. There's a little bit of a tech issue this morning. That's why we started a little bit later. But yeah, let's get into it. So today there's a 29 degrees Pisces and Neptune is pretty much wrapping things up. So what happens with this is it's been years. So since like 2011, 2012, this has been going on. It's the era of illusions. So as you know, as we've all found out, we've awakened to the truth and have seen the illusions of what we were, falsely believing for so long. But a lot of you actually have woken up years before. And a lot of our elderlies also were awake during that time. So just depends on what part of your journey you're at. But that whole Pisces 29 degrees is ending. And today is a great day. So we're going to feel that energetic shift. A lot of you may have already felt that. But as we progress through the day, you're going to feel even better. We have Aries as well. The moon is in Aries, so it's going to be a lot more powerful, more like determination and go-getter kind of attitude. So it's going to be really good, guys. But a lot of the illusions are over, and that was a big time frame from 2011, 2012 to now. So that is now ended. So it's a big deal. I think that's cause for celebration, right? I think it's a good thing. And it actually goes along with what's happening, in the world and everything, and the exposures of the fake Biden. Did you guys see last night the fake Biden doing his little address? I have something funny to show. Let's show that first. And as we go through the show, towards the end, I'm going to play the full phone call. Our president Donald J. Trump called into Fox and Friends. Some of you may have already seen it, but it was early this morning, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I was at the gym and I'm like, oh my gosh, cool. I got to listen to this. So I was listening to it and I'm like, I'm going to play it on my show. So we're going to play the whole phone call towards the end of this show. And then we'll wrap it up after that. Cause it's about, I think 15 minutes or so, but it'll be great to just to hear him. He addresses Elon Musk. He addresses, of course, Biden, Kamala, and it's really good. It's fun. So anyways, let's get into it. I'm going to play this funny clip that I found. So last night, Biden addresses the it's his last little speech, right? But we know it's fake. But this is fun. Take a look at this. Get ready.
A message. Cool evening, America. I've been told that I'm stepping down. And as you all know, taking even one step down is a big, big challenge for me. It appears to me that the glue and tape holding me together is starting to fail. I'm falling apart. Anyway, to my former voters, on November 5th, a few days after Halloween, you will have to eat a hot dog all in one bite. It's a big, big hot dog, Jack. Enjoy your meal. That's all. Biden out.
Of course. Oh my gosh. Of, of course, that was from Benny Johnson. Who else, right? He's awesome. So awesome. If you guys don't follow him, you guys need to. He's on Instagram. He's also on YouTube, but great content. He constantly supports President Trump. And speaking of that, you all know that I will be at the polls. I will be a poll watcher, making sure everything goes down right, if there even is a contest. But our President Trump keeps saying, hey, get out there and vote. So I'm going along with that for now, as long as it still stands. So DonaldJTrump.com, you guys, whatever you can do, support our president right there. You can volunteer, you can contribute. There's many things you can do. You could buy a hat, all those things help the campaign. So there you go. Got to do my part here and share that every show, or almost every show. We're going to be doing that. Just as a reminder, we have newcomers coming across the channel as well. So welcome. And that's a good reminder also to hit that like button, because the like button gets us circulating. So please hit the like button. Still check if you're still subscribed, because if you don't hit the like button, it's not going to circulate, and then we're not going to get as many views. So the like button is very important, just as important as that subscribe button. So if you guys don't mind, check on that for me. I appreciate it very much. I don't remind everyone enough, and I think that's the issue as well. So I have to remind everyone as well as we keep going and we keep creating. So there's so many things that are coming to this channel, and there's other channels in the works. Speaking of that, I want to give a shout out to Susan. She's my music teacher. She's out there in the chat. I think I saw her out there. Shout out to you. I'll be doing a meet and greet later with her today. We're going to hang out in person and talk about some things. So it's going to be great. Can't wait to do that. Out here in beautiful Florida. It's a beautiful day. So I'm so excited. But hey, let's move forward. So before we get into that kind of long that long phone call from President Trump, we will pull some cards. And also, before I do, I'm going to share my website, arcanashores.net. That's where you can find me to schedule a personal reading. And remember, I'm doing that special with the one-on-one Zoom readings only for 122. I dropped it from 188 to 122 because of the times we're in right now. And the offer still stands. I am looking for anyone who wants to have their reading done live. We will do it on the channel if you want to. Any topic, you come with the questions. I'll pull the cards. We'll show everyone how it's done. And it's just entertaining, and it's really fun. And it'll help those out there that are still kind of in their shell and a little afraid to have a tarot reading. But it will demonstrate that it is, especially to new people that are not awake yet and think that it's dark, or maybe they come from a religious background. It is so not dark. It is inspiring. It is guidance. It is beautiful. It's all things to uplift you. The messages are to uplift you. And of course, it's your free will. No one tells you what to do. I don't. But yeah, that's the whole point of that. So if you're interested in a live reading, let me know. Send me an email, starcanashores@gmail.com. So I'm going to stop sharing that. And still the most popular right now is the express readings. So the express readings are still available. Those are only $44. You send in 4 questions, and then I make you a customized video. So those are real fun too. But anyways, you guys know arcanashores.net. That's where you find me. And right here every day, every morning for Morning Mindset. But hey, let's pull some cards for today's message, and then I will play the phone call that Trump made into Fox and Friends this morning. But let's keep it moving. I did not set up the camera for the cards. Actually, where are my cards? Hold on a second. My cat, he knocks over my cards all the time. He knocked them off the counter, so I will be right back. Hold on. All right. Yep. My cat, Wally, he knocked them down. Luckily, not all of them are spilled, so that's good. But yeah, he might even show up in the background this morning, so keep your eye out. He's funny. Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. So what is the message for today? Today is July 25th, 2024. What is the message for the collective that we all need to hear today? Here we go. Ooh, we're getting the 9 of Wands. So we are near a completion here. That's what I'm hearing. Because I like to bring in the numerology with tarot. So a 9 almost being a 10 of completion. We are near a finish line here. Let's see what this is about. And take it how it resonates for your own personal life. As a collective, I'm getting finish line. We're almost there. We're almost to the finish line. Then we have this card. This card showed up previously, I think yesterday and the day before. Enlightenment, the Hanged Man. This could also, though, what I'm hearing is delays. There could be a delay in conversation, a delay in communications. So there could be, it's coming to me that something could be announced today, or something could be groundbreaking coming through, a breakthrough today. Let me just ask it. Is there a breakthrough today in the world stuff going on right now? Is something going to break? Here we go. King of Cups. So we're on the brink of something breaking that is definite. It's going to bring us fulfillment, though, because the King of Cups, he is of fulfillment. He is emotionally fulfilled. But not only that, as the King of Cups energy, we are all holding our cup. We all have our faith, right? We're holding on to faith. And we're in that positive love and light energy. So as we push forward near a finish line, of enlightenment. So yeah, I think that there's going to be some sort of major exposure. We keep seeing things almost every day happen, but I think that this is a big one right here. Wow. Hold on. I think, is it a person? Is there a person that's coming to the forefront that breaks groundbreaking news? Here we go. Yes. All right. So the arcana shores of freedom, of evolving, of expansion, expansion spiritually, but expansion I'm feeling, because this is for the collective. So I'm feeling, as for the collective, for the world, global. This is a global expansion. This is groundbreaking. This is amazing, good news coming forward. Something we've been waiting for. Then we have the King of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, and now the King of Pentacles. This could even be financial. So I'm loving this. This is what, I mean, we've been really waiting for this. So a financial shift possibly as well. King of Swords, Seven of Pentacles. So something's flipping from the past into positivity into the future. King of Pentacles. So that's financial security. So I do feel there'll be a deliverance of some sort that gives us that reassurance of security. There's something about security. So let's move forward here. What else is coming through? Six of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles. Wow. Okay. So for those of you that don't know, but in tarot, the pentacles are earth energy, but it is also symbolism for, as you can see, they're gold coins. The symbolism for material things that we need in order in our day-to-day life. So I am definitely feeling that this is financial. Six of Pentacles is a very giving. Okay, it is the 25th, some say, and I actually believe this too. Some say that this is the true Christmas in July. It is July 25th. So is this, we have to ask the cards. We're going to ask. It's not the cards, and I got to correct myself. It's not that the cards are going to say something. It's what channels in, you know, what I'm picking up from the images. So what is happening today, 7/25? Are we going to hear some great news that's similar to Christmas in July? Here we go. Let's take a look. Page of Pentacles, and then I pulled two at the same time. Fear of the unknown in the middle there, and then the Queen of Pentacles. So what's happening here? This is the Queen of Pentacles. Remember, we got the King of Pentacles. Financial security is on the horizon here. Page of Pentacles as well. Something about the children, the littles. Fear of the unknown, I believe, is out the window, but it is going to bring anxiety in for those that are shocked of what they're hearing. Because why they're going to be shocked is that all of them that called us conspiracy theorists, right? They're going to be stunned that we were correct about a lot of this stuff, especially the little ones. So yeah, there's a major reveal going to be happening, and the financial. So I think it's two separate things. And I do believe that 7/25 today, something will break. Something's going to break. Something good. It's going to be something good that we've been expecting, and we're going to be relieved. That's what I'm feeling. Eight of Swords, the Magician. So that stagnant energy of feeling stuck, hopeless, or just like, when are things going to get better? I'm sick of hearing this, that, or the other, or hopium and all that stuff. So that's that Eight of Swords energy is turning into the Magician. The Magician, we all are the Magician, because we all are manifestors. We are our own creators. We create our story, our life, where we're going next. It's all on us. So getting out of that mentality, I think that the collective is breaking free from that. They're breaking free from control. We've already pretty much been awake, but those that are now awakening, finally, they are feeling it. They're feeling like, whoa, something just broke off. And that's also in astrology right now. With that 29 degrees, that's an ending. That's over. We're over with that. No offense, we love Pisces, but Pisces can bring on illusions. And therefore, in the tarot, it's actually the moon card. That's a Pisces card, the moon card. Because there's illusion. There's things that seem a certain way, but clearly are not. And we've been finding that out for years now. So it's coming to a wrap. It's coming to a close. So that is the major relief and release that we're all feeling right now. And soon to feel more of that. Now, the back of the deck, I couldn't help but notice, but when I put it down, Ten of Pentacles. So the Ten of Pentacles also represents, as you can see, lots of gold, right? So this could be good news for gold and silver. Also for all investments, the cryptos, I feel. All of that, I feel like, is really going to take off, or something big. We're going to hear something good about it that's going to give us some good hope and just push forward. So it's some sort of excitement that I'm sensing here today for 7/25/24. I do believe that is the message that I was supposed to channel for you guys today. So very exciting. I'm excited for this, for just the day in general, especially with the Aries moon, having the moon in Aries. It is a good placement, I believe, especially for what's going on right now. So yep, it's going to be a great day. And as we move into the weekend too, I believe we could see some things tomorrow's Friday, and earlier in the week, I don't know if I said it live, but I know I said it to a friend outside of this work here. I said by Friday, something cool is going to happen, And I don't know if you guys are watching the rally last night. I did watch it. I can't think of his name, but Trump called out and said, I can't wait to meet that guy. And I think, is it Fasco? Is that his last name? Maybe some of you could throw it in the chat. But quickly, me and my friend yesterday were watching it and we're like, that's JFK Jr., So I do believe he was kind of calling out and kind of drawing attention to that, and also playing along like, oh, I can't wait to meet that guy. He's here every rally. Like he said something to that extent. It's, yes, Diana Alexander, that's the name. Fusco, I think, right? Yes. So he did. Vincent Fusca. Okay, there you go, Ronnie. Thank you. That's who he called out to. I can't remember what time it was in the rally. Usually I pay attention to timestamp it, but I can't remember. But I'm sure that there's going to be influencers that are going to replay that part. And if I have time later, I will piece it together and then play it for you tomorrow. But I thought that was so cool. So cool. So anyways, we're going to move on, since we already did the astrology and we did the message for today, which looks really good and really positive and exciting on this Christmas in July. Let's play this phone call. I'm going to play the full phone call. So go get your coffee. Hopefully you already have it. Just take a listen. Here we go. I'm going to play it right now. It's very insightful and it's funny. He's great. We love him.
Mr. President, welcome back. We used to do this before you were running for office. Now we're back doing it with the stakes much higher than who's going to win The Apprentice. But let's talk about that speech last night. Do you think we learned why Joe Biden decided not to run against you?
Well, I think it was a coup. They didn't want him running. He was way down in the polls, and they thought he was going to lose. They went to him and they said, you can't win the race, which I think is true, unless I did something very foolish, which I wasn't going to do. And I think he was so far down, and they said, you're not going to win, and you're not in great shape, and you did poorly in the debate. I think the debate started everything. That really started the fall. If he didn't have the debate, and remember, they challenged me. I didn't challenge them. They said, let's have a debate. They gave me everything I didn't want, from Jake Tapper to everybody else in CNN, and I said, I'll take it, because I was surprised that he was willing to debate. So we debated. It didn't turn out well, but it really began from the debate. And the ratings, his approval numbers went very bad, and I was beating him by a lot. And all of a sudden, you could see what was happening. They were trying to do a coup. And I have it from very good information. I know a lot of people on the other side, too, that they went and they forced him out, between Pelosi and Obama and some others that right. You see on television. It was interesting. I'd watch them on television and they act so nice. Oh, yes, we love Joe. We love Joe. Behind the scenes, I know for a fact they were brutal.
So, Mr. President, should he have taken yesterday, during that Oval Office address, to resign? Because there's clearly something up right now. The reports are coming out that he's fallen asleep in cabinet meetings, the scripting, everything. You have aides saying that Nancy Pelosi had to take over infrastructure negotiation because he was all over the place. Should he have resigned yesterday in that speech?
He's been this way for a long time. He hid in his basement during COVID. They pulled a fast one. He was in his basement. When I was campaigning, I said, where is this guy? He's never out. And he's been this way for a long time. I think he's worse now. I watched the speech last night, and look, the amazing thing is you look at the other networks, they say, oh, wasn't that a wonderful speech? Wasn't he wonderful? It was terrible delivery. He looked like he was having problems. And yet you watch the other networks and you would think he was Ronald Reagan in his prime, Winston Churchill in his prime. And he wasn't. It was not good. Yeah. It was not a good speech. The look, the sound, the voice, everything. And, it's so phony what's going on. I mean, the press is it's so fake. Anybody can see it was a problem. He's a problemed man. Should he stay? I guess that's up to him and it's up to the people. And I don't think they should use the 25th Amendment. You have not long to go. We have 4 months now, and then he's got another month and a half. But I will say this, the world is in a very dangerous place. I think if he goes, she then takes over, and she's worse than he is. I really believe she's a San Francisco radical. She's actually, I think, a much worse candidate than he is. And she's not doing very well in the polls, considering she's got a little birthday present.
Well, she's so progressive, and you can just look at her voting record. Nonpartisan Government Track says she's the most liberal U.S. senator. She's more liberal than Bernie Sanders when you look at her record. And last night, I don't know if you watched Sean's show, but in his A block, his monologue, he went through all of her radical proposals. And then he would say, listen to it in her own words. And then he'd play a soundbite of what she wanted to do and her saying that she wanted to do this. She's against fracking. She's likes the open border. She's not going to criminalize people who walk across the border, on and on and on. It just laid out how drastic her policies are. Can America survive a Kamala Harris presidency?
No. And she also wants to defund the police, and she really wants to do it more than any other person. She's the most radical person probably that we've had in office, let alone the office of the presidency. She was a horrible campaigner when she ran. She ran against Biden. And I thought he was terrible, but she was terrible. She was horrible. And she was the meanest person up there. She was meaner to him than anybody else. She accused him of being a racist with the buses, if you remember. She was the meanest person, but not a very good debater, but nasty, just nasty to him. And then when he chose her, I said, how do you do that? A person treats you so badly. He was treated so badly during the debates. And he wasn't all there even during those debates. I mean, that was a long time ago. He still wasn't there. If you know him, he wasn't there 25 years ago. He was not exactly the brightest bulb in the ceiling. And this is what we got. And look at our country now with 20 million, because the number I saw you talking before to Rachel's mom. And it was very sad. I know them. And what happened to Rachel was so horrible. And what happened to so many families and so many people in families with all of the criminals pouring into our country. And remember this, every single country all over the world, unless they're stupid, is releasing their prisoners and their gang members and their bad people into our country. Venezuela, which has a tremendous problem with crime in Caracas and other places, Venezuela is releasing thousands of people, criminals, gang members, drug dealers, the worst. They're releasing them into the United States. Venezuelan crime is down 72%. Their prison population is becoming much smaller. I'm surprised they haven't just moved all of them. They will. They'll soon have no prisoners. All of the prisoners are being moved into the United States. And that's true with many other countries. It's true with countries all over. The Congo in Africa is releasing their prisoners into the United States.
So, Mr.
And we are so stupid that we take them, and nothing good is going to happen. And we have terrorists coming in at a level that we've never seen, mostly from the Middle East. Terrorists are coming into our country at a level that we've never seen before. And this is so bad for our country. There is nothing good about it. This is so bad for our country.
And there we were looking at some of the video from the new caravan that is heading our way. Mr. President, it was just about a week ago that you selected J.D. Vance to be your running mate. Now we know that Kamala, at that point, you didn't know that Kamala Harris was going to be your main opponent, but now she is. And I'm sure you've seen there have been a couple of stories out
that say they wonder whether or not you feel you made the right pick, given the fact you didn't realize you were going to be running against a woman who might now try to pick a running mate to deliver a key state or a demographic or anything like that. You're still 100% behind J.D. Vance, right?
He's fantastic. Yeah, no, it wouldn't have mattered. And I thought she was probably going to happen anyway, because I knew there was a palace coup going on, and I assumed that she'd be probably getting it. She had the advantage. So, no, it wouldn't matter. No, he's doing a fantastic job. He goes around. He's essentially for the worker. He's seen the worker be horribly abused and taken advantage of, and he's for the worker. That's what his book is about. Right. That's where his feelings are.
Gotcha.
No, he's for the worker. No, he's great. He's doing a great job, and he's been very well received.
Well, Kamala Harris has given 2 speeches now that she's the candidate, and she's going, they're almost identical speeches. This is what she's doing. She's going after you this way. Watch.
Before I was elected vice president, before I was elected United States Senator, I was elected Attorney General of the state of California, and I was a courtroom prosecutor before then. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And in this campaign, I promise you, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week.
As the attack, what's the retort?
Well, I think it's disgusting. And I get a kick out of one thing. They say, sir, be nice. You just got hit with a bullet. Maybe he's changed. Be nice. And I'd love to be nice, but I'm dealing against real garbage. When you hear that, they've weaponized the justice system against me. They've indicted me 4 times. They've pushed other lawsuits onto me. It's never happened in this country. This is like a third world country, what they've done, a banana republic. Every single court case that I have is pushed on by them. They've taken the Justice Department, used local DAs, and used local attorney generals. Every single case I have, and I just won the big one in Florida that Biden didn't win. What happened to Biden is they called him incompetent. He can run for president, but he's incompetent to represent himself in court. But just so you know, they push all these cases on me. They're the ones that started. And then they say, I'm a prosecutor. He's a criminal. They're the ones. Every case is started by them. And I'm winning the cases, but every case, and the big one I just won in Florida was just thrown out by a brilliant judge, to be honest with you.
Eileen Cannon.
And it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful that they can do this. It's called weaponization, and it does happen in other countries.
Mr. President,
but does it get under your skin?
It's never happened in this country before.
Does that get under your skin when those comments are made? Because that's what they're meant to do.
It's not a question of getting under your skin. You fight back. I fought back, I think, very valiantly. But they weaponized the United States Justice Department against Donald Trump for purposes of hurting their political opponent. And so far, and I think long term, it's had a positive effect. My poll numbers are high. They're higher than they've ever been. People don't like what they're doing. They weaponize it to go after a political opponent. Now, and she was very much in charge, and she was a prosecutor, but she was a failed prosecutor. She put a lot of people in jail that should have never been there. She put people in jail that were political enemies. She's bad news. She's a radical left, not very smart person.
Mr. President,
she failed her bar exam. She couldn't even pass her bar exam. It was brutal on her. She couldn't pass it. She thought she'd never be able to pass it. This is what we have as our next president.
So speaking of radical, Mr. President, we've been watching these protests. And while the Prime Minister of Israel was giving a great speech yesterday, you had protesters burning the American flag. They were screaming Allah Akbar. They had the Palestinian flag. They took the American flag down. They were writing Hamas on the bell outside of Union Station. What does a Donald Trump do if he takes office to these people on the street?
Rarely have we seen anything like this, and I think you should get a 1-year jail sentence if you do anything to desecrate the American flag. Now, people will say, oh, it's unconstitutional. Those are stupid people. Those are stupid people that say that. We have to work in Congress to get a 1-year jail sentence when they're allowed to stomp on the flag and put lighter fluid on the flag and set it afire. And when you're allowed to do that, you get a 1-year jail sentence and you'll never see it again. And all over the world, Putin and President Xi of China, all over the world, they're watching this. Kim Jong-un, he looks at us like we're a bunch of babies. They see that. That wouldn't happen in their countries. It's impossible for that to happen in their country. Where we look so bad to the world. That was a disgraceful display yesterday.
The prime minister had a beautiful speech. It was wonderful. And he introduced some of the hostages that we've all been praying for. They were standing up. He introduced us to some of the IDF soldiers who had lost limbs and talked about how radical Iran is and what's happening in Gaza. I know you're meeting with him tomorrow after Kamala Harris become president to end the war in Gaza.
Well, first of all, it was very nice to me yesterday. He mentioned me in the speech very nicely, and I appreciated that. He's coming to see me. I want him to finish up and get it done quickly. You got to get it done quickly because they are getting decimated with this publicity. And, you know, Israel is not very good at public relations, I'll tell you that. Israel, for whatever reason, you have Jewish people out there wearing yarmulkes, and they're, you know, pro-Palestine. You've never seen anything. People have never seen anything like this. Israel has to handle their public relations. Their public relations are not good, and they've got to get this done fast because the world is not taking lightly to it. It's really incredible. You know, October 7th would have never happened if I was president. There was no chance. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah. It just wouldn't have happened. Zero chance. By the way, Ukraine, the attack by Russia would have never happened.
Mr. President, they're soul walking weapons to Israel now, and they're deciding what weapons Israel should be using. Would you change that policy?
I'd make sure that it gets over with fast. You have to end this fast. It can't continue to go on like this. It's too long. It's too much. You got to get your hostages back. I think they're going to have a lot of bad news with the hostages. I think some of those hostages, many of them maybe are dead. I believe they're dead. I watched them as they took the hostages in disbelief. Again, it would have never happened if I was president. I watched them as they took the hostages. The level of violence and viciousness, the way they pulled that young girl into a car by her hair and threw her like a sack of potatoes. And I don't believe that they're really capable of taking care of all these hostages. And I think you're going to find that one of the reasons that Hamas is not really negotiating very nicely, I think they're saying, wow, they want the hostages back, and we've killed the hostages. I think a lot of the hostages are dead.
Right. Mr. President, we all watched your rally last night indoors. Of course, the Secret Service suggested you have indoor rallies given what happened to you less than 2 weeks ago. Earlier this week, we heard from the Secret Service director. She was asked a bunch of really good questions. She didn't really give any answers. Yesterday, Christopher Wray, the FBI director, was on. He had lots more things we had never heard before, including the fact that the gunman, the day that he registered to go to your rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, he also Googled, and this was the search, he Googled, how far away was Oswald from Kennedy? When you heard about that, what did you think?
Well, look, some big mistakes were made. And, you know, they didn't give me, because I'll have rallies of 55, 60,000 people. Biden would have a rally with 30 people. And they took people from my rallies and they wouldn't have my people were constantly complaining that they need more people. And they would, I wasn't very much involved in it. That was up to them, but they were constantly complaining that they're not given enough people, because I had a rally in New Jersey, 107,000 people. They don't have rallies. Nobody goes to a Biden rally. Very few people. Once the rose starts to fade, very few people are going to be going to her rallies. She's terrible at rallies and speaking, but very few people. But we're getting crowds. Like last night, we had 25,000 people inside. We had another 25,000 people outside that couldn't get into the arena. And we do need, now I will say they've really beefed it up in the last week. It was pretty amazing when I looked at the difference. But my people, and they're very good people. Look, I had people standing on that stage with me, and within seconds, I had 7 or 8 people
but Mr. President,
laying on top
why
of
did
me,
they
and
let
they were
you...
very brave. They were very brave, but not having somebody on the roof. And the communications with local police was obviously horrible.
Why did they let you get out the car? I mean, we're noticing now through the messages that's coming out now that they knew about the gunmen before you even stepped foot on the stage. So why did they let you get out of the car?
Well, the biggest mistake they made is allowing me to go. There wasn't even a car. It was like a tent, but the tent was, safe. Nobody knew you were there. And they shouldn't have let me go on the stage. Now, they just weren't communicating properly with the local police. Different groups of people knew there was some nut job on the roof, and he was up there. And the one woman, a real Trumper, she got Trump all over, and she's screaming, there's a guy with a gun on the roof. Right. And that was, quite a bit before I walked up to the stage. And then you had the local policeman who it looks like he got up there and he saw the guy, and then he fell off the roof. And what happened to him? Why didn't he start screaming, there's a gun? So there are many people, but the communication was bad. And, oftentimes, like if there's lightning or thunder or big rains or there's a problem, they'll say, sir, could you wait 15 minutes, please? Or could you wait 10 minutes? That happens a lot. Or there's a crowd of people somewhere.
Mr. President,
yes.
I was just going to interject. You just mentioned the weather. It sounds like from the reporting over the last 24 hours, there was supposed to be somebody on that roof, but the person was not on the roof because apparently it was too hot.
Well, I hadn't heard that, but that's a terrible thing. And it's just a terrible thing. It's such a shame. And the Secret Service, they're such great people.
Yes.
It's a blight on their reputation. There should have been somebody on the roof. When you look at it now, it's a clear shot. And it's amazing that, look, a person died, a fantastic Corey, and 2 great people were very badly hurt. I'm in communication with them, and the public has been so generous. We set up a fund, and the public's been so generous. But it's like, a lot of money was given to the family of Corey, and the statement was, so nice, this is so nice, but I wish I had my husband back.
Of course.
The wife said that. And she doesn't want the money. They don't want the money. They had a great relationship. Corey was a fire chief and just a real great guy. Everybody said, and they don't want money. They want their husband back. They want their father back. And he was very brave. He shielded the wife and the 2 girls, his 2 daughters, and he got hit hard. He got really hit hard. That's a tough one. When you get hit with those bullets, that's a tough one.
And what people don't understand, when you do meet with these families, you ask them questions. You want to know about these people. I only found that out talking to the Diller family and people that saw you in the wake in my town. But just moving on to something less important than life and death, but just about this election, they keep on tying you, whether it's yesterday's testimony when they were talking to Christopher Wray or whether it's Kamala Harris on the stump. They keep on tying you to Project 2025, which is a 900-page tome put out by the Heritage Foundation. What is your response to what's in it, and what would you like to say about the role it's playing in your campaign?
It's a group of very, very conservative people. They wrote a document that many of the points are fine. Many of the points are absolutely ridiculous. I have nothing to do with the document. I've never seen the document. I've seen certain things that are said in it. And it's a group of very conservative people that probably like me, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't speak for me. They wrote something that I disagree with in many cases, and in some cases you agree. But it's like a group of radical left people that write something. A document I know nothing about. It's called Project 25. I heard about it a week ago and has nothing to do with me whatsoever. But of course, our friends that are Democrats, radical left Democrats, they take the document, which is, I guess, pretty big and thorough, and they scour through it. And anything that's bad in there or that's a little bit less than mainstream, they take it and they make a big deal out of it. Donald Trump and Project 25. Are you ready? I know nothing about Project 25. I haven't seen the document. I don't intend to really see the document. and it's a group of people that got together that wrote some kind of a dream document for them. But it has absolutely nothing to do with me. And it's just disinformation, Brian, by the Democrats. It's pure disinformation.
So, Mr. President, they plan on using that to attack you, but they're also trying to divide the country. And you've seen what they've already started to do, because Kamala Harris is Jamaican as well as Indian. How are you going to handle that? Because you made real gains with black voters, Hispanic voters, young voters. They're giving you a shot because they like where you stand on the economy. They like where you stand with criminal justice reform, giving their kids a quality education. So when you go toe to toe with Kamala Harris on that debate stage and all the publicity with the press and all that, how are you going to handle that?
Well, I handle it very easily. I have the economy on my side. We had the greatest economy in history. They have a lousy economy that's so inflation-ridden. We have the worst. I think we have the worst inflation in the history of our country, and it's destroying people, where people have to pay twice and three times more than they were paying for something 1 year ago, 2 years ago. Look at what's happening to energy. Look at what's happening to food, all these things. So I have that. I have the border on my side. The border is a big deal. I fixed it once. I got it down to a level, the best ever. And then they broke it. They broken it. I had to do it twice. I did it in 2016, and then these guys came along and they broke it. We have 20 million people. Many of them are criminals. Many of them are terrorists pouring into our country. We have no idea who they are, where they come from, and they come from all over the world, not just South America. They have nothing on their side. And the abortion issue, which they think they have, they now don't have, because I was able to bring that back to the states, and the people are voting on it. And most people believe in the exceptions, the three exceptions. And the abortion issue is a much smaller. Look at what happened in Ohio. They voted, and they got what you would say the progressives wanted. Very much so. Same thing in Kansas. They got the people are voting. Everybody wanted that issue, the abortion. They didn't want Roe v. Wade.
The states have
they wanted it to be taken out of Congress. They wanted it to be taken out of the federal government. I was able to do that, and now people are voting, and they're voting the way the people want. That's the way it was always supposed to be.
You're talking about voting, and early voting it's being pushed by the Democrats. It has been for a long time, or voting by mail. Republicans usually like to go on that Tuesday in November on Election Day. But I know that the message is changing. Why is it important? Why is it advantageous for your voters to have early voting or vote by mail?
Well, it's nice to have early voting. The main thing is to vote. A lot of things happen with the early votings that is no good. Look, anytime you have mail-in voting, you're going to have fraud. And some people don't like me saying it, but I say it. When you have mail-in voting, France had mail-in voting, and they ended up going to one-day voting with paper ballots and voter ID, and it worked out great for them. At 10 o'clock in the evening, it was done. We have mail-in voting. The votes are coming in. They get. But
you want your people to early vote, though, right?
I guess I'd rather have that, but the main thing is I want them to vote. Republicans historically like voting on Election Day, and what we should have, ideally, one-day voting, voter ID, proof of citizenship, and paper ballots. And paper, by the way, is very sophisticated. It's called watermark. It's highly sophisticated.
I like it.
But that's what we should have in this country, not this mail-in voting where millions of votes are sent out and nobody knows where they went and where they're coming from.
Mr. President, a couple of weeks ago, Wall Street Journal had a story about how it sounded like Elon Musk was going to be donating $45 million a month to a super PAC to support you and get people to early vote and stuff like that. What is going on with you and Elon Musk?
Well, I have a good relationship with him. I think he's a nice guy. I disagree with the electric cars for everybody. I think people should have, and I'm very much against that. It's ridiculous, actually. You want a gasoline-propelled car, or you want maybe a hybrid. You want to have a choice, and that includes electric. But no, Elon and I have a very good relationship. As you know, he endorsed me very strongly. Somebody told me he was going to give me $45 million a month. I said, that sounds like a lot. And even for Elon, that's a lot. But he was going to give me 45 minutes. There was a reporter that wrote it. He never told me he was giving me 45, but he did say, I strongly endorse you, despite the fact that I'm against the electric car mandate. I'm all for electric cars if people want them.
He didn't pay you off.
Totally against
he just joined your team.
But Mr. President, real quickly, is there a plan, though, for when it comes to early voting and ballot harvesting, the legal way. Since the Democrats has made it legal, is there a plan for the Republicans to get out there, door knock, and get those ballots?
Oh, yes. We have a tremendous group of people, thousands, tens of thousands, of which we've never had before. Whether you like it or not, they cheat on elections. They cheat. That's what they do the best. They're no good at policy. They're no good on the border. They're no good with the economy, but they cheat like hell. That's what they're good at. We have lawyers at every poll booth. We have that's what in fact, my instruction, we don't need the votes. I have so many votes. I'm in Florida now, and I drove to another location yesterday, and every house has a Trump Vance sign on it. Every single house. There's not a house that we passed that doesn't. We have the votes. What we have to
drive
do.
by Charlie Crist's house then.
Oh, I know.
Just saying.
Charlie. I think Charlie probably has one up too. If you want to know that.
He's a Republican.
But everybody has. It's amazing, the spirit. And I'll say this: we had two elections. The first election we did great. The second election we did much better than the first election. But this election has more spirit than I've ever seen ever before. And that's because they've seen how bad these people are at government.
And next up Saturday in Minnesota. And next up Saturday in Minnesota.
Remember this, they're destroying our country, Brian.
Right.
They are destroying our
Mr.
country.
Mr. President, thank you so much for your time today. We'll be following that rally.
We told your communications
thank you very
team
much.
you would be out by 8 o'clock, and we went 90 seconds over. It sounds like you completely recovered, and it's great talking to you. Thank you,
45th
sir.
President of the United
I
States.
am in good shape. Thank you very much,
God
everybody.
bless.
Thank you.
All right, pretty good, right? So he went over quite a bit there. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to wrap up this show now, but thank you all for being here. It was fun chatting with you guys in the chat too. And thank you all. I know a lot of you were talking about my cards. So yes, until I find a better company that can help me with the printing and the shipping part of it, because I have to have the gold. I really don't want to sell a series without the gold on the edges. They're just so beautiful that way. So let me go back there. But yeah, I know you guys are talking about the cards in the chat. So yes, there's still a supply. I believe it's at 23 now because some orders came in yesterday. But like I said, I will fix the issue and then they'll all be back in stock again, But right now it looks like it's a limited supply right now. But I'm going to investigate and try to find a better company in the U.S. I really wish I could just print them myself. So I'm going to look into that too. It probably cost me a lot of money to do that. But hey, I will definitely look into every option because I love these cards, as all of you that have them. And yeah, Diane Alexander, yes, I know. And the gold, they wouldn't be the same without the gold on the edges. So that's why I'm just like, dang, there's only so many left right now. But I will try to fix this problem. Any of you out there that know of any, but I've already investigated quite a bit and a lot of the US companies, and that's why I had to work with an overseas company, even though it cost me a whole lot more. And that's why the price is higher than most, because I had to go with an overseas company to get the gold on the edges. So it's crazy, right? So I'm going to really look into different options on what I can do about that, because I have a lot of other decks I plan to create. So maybe I should look into how I can have them printed myself, figure out how to do it. I am a jack of all trades and I know I can do it. But I got to really investigate that. But thank you all for all the love, all the support, all the compliments about my cards in the chat. I really appreciate that. And also I wanted to touch on it a little bit. A lot of you guys were asking, I want to know more in depth. I want to know the names of the cards and all that kind of stuff. Well, I purposely didn't put the names on the cards because I don't want you guys to learn the old way. Please don't Google what does the Two of Swords mean. Please, that's an example. Don't Google it. Don't go look in the old Rider Waite book. That's not what these cards have pure intention for you. And they were designed. I designed them. Yes, they look like little paintings, but they are designed with color psychology. You have the sunlight or the moonlight in every single card. That is intentional. That is to help you really tap into that download coming through. what I'm seeing in the personal readings, the major thing that's going on is most people don't trust themselves. They don't trust the information coming in, or they're really concentrating on what they're looking at. And that's not that. And I get it. I completely get it. And I will have more patience with you guys about teaching this. And I'll do just an open class for you guys. We'll do an open Zoom together or something. Or just a live show, because it's easier on a broad scale, to just let you guys know that when you tap into your intuition, and most of you know this, but you gotta trust the information that you're hearing. So color psychology actually triggers that, and that's what happens to me even in other decks, but a lot of them just don't have the richness and that beauty of the sunlight or the moonlight. I have that lighting in each card. So again, it's just whether or not do you trust yourself? Do you trust the information coming in? Once you get to that point, you're the creator. You are the one that comes up with the meanings to every card. That is true channeling. You are channeling the information. Just like if you rewind it to the reading we did this morning, it's a different meaning every day because I am channeling the information. The cards never speak to you. The cards are not, and a lot of people will come to me and say, let's see what the cards say. Can you ask the cards this? Can you ask the cards? The cards don't tell you anything. It is what you are channeling. And I'm sorry if I seem a little, harsh here, but it's the truth. The cards don't tell you anything. The cards help you to tap in, so to help you channel. It is a tool, So please trust yourselves. That is number one key. If you don't trust yourself, then you're going to be stumped. And those are usually the individuals that will get their phone out, or they'll go get their little book and be like, what does this one mean? It kind of looks like the Two of Swords, kind of looks like the Ten of Cups. And yes, my cards do honor still the Rider-Waite, still honor the originals, but they're different. So they're not a set like those. They're completely unique in their own way. And that is why I purposely didn't put names on them. And I added different cards, such as the one that's going like this at you, that Arcana Shores card right there. I give you a base meaning in the video that is on my channel currently right now, the Arcana Shores Tarot deck video of each card. And I'll tell you the base meaning of what I saw, my vision for each card as they were created, and the art behind it. But the true meaning when you pull a card comes from your higher self. It's not coming from a book. It's not coming from the Rider-Waite. Let me Google, what does this mean? It is from you. It is from your higher self. And that's what we need to, this is like another awakening in a sense, right? Because we may have learned that way. And I learned from just listening to other readers about like, oh, that's what they think the Two of Swords is. But how come when I'm reading, I'm getting different answers? So this was in the beginning, right? I was figuring it out. I'm like, whoa, they're just triggering me to channel. I can do it without you guys don't have to have cards either. You can simply channel as long as you trust yourself. You listen to yourself, you trust the information coming through. You are a channeler. Tarot readers are channeling as well. So there's a big thing about that. There's people that say, oh, tarot readers are bullshit, but sorry. But no, it is channeling. These are tools. Most tarot readers don't need the cards, but it is very entertaining and beautiful. And it's an art. It's amazing. It's magical, good magical stuff. So just remember that the baseline, if you're getting stumped and you're paying too much attention to what the picture is, you're just not trusting yourself and you're not engaged with your higher self. There could be a lot of distractions going on. Maybe you need to go ground yourself and come back to it, and then really tune in and tap into what you're hearing. It's more so what you're hearing. Yes, you will get visions. Sometimes I'll get visions and I'll see things, and then I'll tell you guys what the answer is, because this is what I see. But a lot of times I'm hearing things. I'm hearing just one word. I'm hearing a sentence. Like you just never know, but you need to trust. That's the number one. If you don't trust yourself, then you're probably not going to be able to do it. But you got to get through that point of trusting yourself. And that's part of us evolving and ascending, right? We have to trust our higher self, especially in this Great Awakening. You guys already do it now. You guys do it about all this political stuff. You trust your inner knowing and your discernment with what you're watching too. So you guys are already there. You just have to trust it when you pull a card. Don't pay too much attention to the girl in the ocean, right? Or the seashell. It's not just that. It's what do you hear? Or do you have a vision? Are you seeing something other than that? So sorry guys, that's just I had to address that because it was a big topic in the chat. But during Trump talking, but thank you guys for all your compliments and everything. But hey, I loved that little phone call from Trump this morning, 7:30 a.m. He did that on the Eastern time. I did pull cards on it before. Saw in the chat some of you were like, is this CGI? Is that really him? I did actually I don't put things on the channel unless I do feel it's real. So yes, I channeled and I confirmed it is real. It was a real phone call from him into Fox and Friends. He does it many times. He does it a lot. God wins 86. I just pretty much addressed this. The reason why, no, I will never put labels on the cards. Never. Nope. Because it will get you back to square one. Let me go Google and let me look in the Rider-Waite book and see what it means. No, you have the meaning. It is within. You need to go within and trust yourself. You are the reader. You are the one that's channeling. So it doesn't make any sense, and it never has to me, to read a book and say, okay, this is what each card means, and then I'm going to do a reading. It takes you away from trusting yourself, and this is why it's such a huge controversy right now, I can see, because the old way takes you completely out of it. So everyone's so used to it. You guys are so used to that programming. It's programming. It really is. But the real true mystic, the real channeler, it's tapping into you, tapping into your higher self and trusting yourself, number one. Knowing the difference between ego and your intuition. So that is why there'll never, ever be labels on my cards, ever. Because that's just going to take you way off course and you're just going to be thrown off. And I think that was intentional with Rider-Waite and those other ones out there. I do think a lot of that's intentional. Maybe not all of it, but the first beginning decks, I do believe, is let's try to get the people away from knowing their power and their intuition. Let's give them all a basic meaning so that they know, like, they'll just run off of this and they'll think this is what it means. It doesn't. What it means is what's coming in for you, and also who you're reading for. It's situational. Everything is different. You're always going to get a different answer. Or you should be. If you're getting the same answer every day, then there's something wrong there, But anyways, I could go on about this. I've done a show, if you haven't noticed, on the channel, Decoding Tarot, the history of tarot. So that's also on the channel. Check it out. And that might help you too, where I'm coming from and how I see it, my interpretation of why I believe the old way of learning tarot, I don't think it's the right way. I don't, because it's getting you away from listening to your inner higher self. So I think I have definitely voiced my opinion here. But anyways, I better get going. I've got a live meet and greet, and it's going to be great. Can't wait. But anyways, I will be back on tomorrow. I love you all so much. Thank you all for all of your support every show. We're running on an hour now. But great hearing from our President Trump, and continue to support him. Spread all the content out there you can for Trump, because that's a thing too. And I'm going to share his website one more time. I'm going to be a pool watcher, so they did encourage. They know I have a channel. The guys at the pool watch meetings, they're like, yeah, share it every show or as much as you can. So DonaldJTrump.com. Definitely get a hat, get a shirt, whatever you want, but it all helps. It all helps them for sure. But anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a beautiful day. Bye.